1, 2,
Welcome to the Mental Reps podcast, featuring your host, Brian Wright.
You thinking about doing any more acting? I know you were on New Girl, which is like one of my girl's favorite shows of all time.
Oh,
so
cool.
Yeah, so what, you got some more acting potential?
I hope so.
Our guest this episode is comedian and actor Alex Hooper.
Being on those sets is so fun. Like New Girl, getting to improv with those guys and kind of just like fit myself into the seam of a show. I mean, I was in season 4. They had a groove, and trying to figure out how I can get in there was great.
This week's episode is sponsored by the Field Irish Pub Eatery, a little piece of island in South Florida.
My second year in LA, I was on a sitcom called Hot in Cleveland, and I was in an episode with Betty White and Mary Tyler Moore together.
Holy
and then you're like,
shit.
I'm like,
As well as elite sanitizing services, keeping South Florida clean and in business.
I'm in a room before we tape and we're doing a speed read, and I'm looking at two of the most legendary comedic actresses of all time, thinking like, how did I get here?
Now fade out that fresh ass beat and let's get this bitch on the road.
Welcome to Mental Reps Podcast. I'm Brian Wright. How's it going? I hope you're happy and healthy. It's a new year, new beginnings, and all that good shit. Sorry we haven't been as consistent recently. Had a ton going on during the holidays, but I have a full schedule. For January, we're back to having a fresh episode every week. So thank you so damn much for listening, watching, sharing with your friends, the YouTube, streaming, social medias. You can go find us anywhere. Search for our name. Really appreciate it. Go check out the new and improved mentalreps.net. Giving away 50% of the proceeds from the podcast merch sales to an amazing nonprofit. I love the great people there, Neighbors for Neighbors. Check them out, Neighbors, the number 4neighbors.org. They got like dozens of programs that benefit animals. They got toy drives for the kiddos, natural disaster relief, help for the elderly, COVID-19 relief, so much more. So every time you buy a Mental Reps t-shirt, a face mask, a magnet, or whatever, 50 cents of every dollar profit we generate is going to Neighbors for Neighbors. Really proud of that. Just a small way and give back to the community and give back to those in need. So please be a gem. Go to mentalreps.net and pick something up. Also, make your reservations right now. Township Comedy Club benefiting Neighbors for Neighbors, January 30th at 7:30. The last one was so awesome. Thank you to everybody who came out. We really had a good time. You can go make your reservations for the next one, townshipftl.com, or call anytime Wednesday through Sunday, 954-338-4070, and they will hook you up with a reservation. We got headliner Jimmy Schubert, Abby Ballin, Danny Braff, John Gregory going to be there as well. Free entry. 2-drink minimum, but I promise you're going to love the comedians. You're going to laugh, be contributing to a great cause. All the proceeds of the event are going to Neighbors for Neighbors. So come hungry, too. They got a great menu there at Township, full bars, downtown Fort Lauderdale. Make your reservations right now. It's going to be a good time. Promise you. You come out, you're going to laugh. My guest today, really funny dude with a great attitude, actor and comedian Alex Hooper. He's He's a bit misunderstood by many at first, but the more you find out about him, just like, I don't know, the more I love this guy. He's been a comedian for over a decade. May have seen him on America's Got Talent. He appeared on there twice, most recently in 2020 during this damn pandemic. Made it to the quarterfinals, and he did a great job. He's been featured on Comedy Central's Roast Battle. You might have seen him on one of my favorite sitcoms ever, New Girl. But most importantly, the guy's just got a great fucking attitude. He is not naive. He is not out to lunch. He knows exactly what he's doing. Good, bad, and ugly. He chooses to live a life of rainbows and unicorns and lollipops. I just love this guy. He's super positive, yet just always down for a good roast. Don't want to say too much. You just have to hear and see him for yourself. So I hope you enjoyed my chat with the absolute unicorn of a human being, Alex Hooper. But first, did you really think I'd forget about my family in Ireland? South Florida's authentic Irish pub and eatery, The Field, our official sponsor of Mental Reps Podcast. Just go to thefieldfl.com, enter codeword REPS20 for 20% off your entire online order. The Field, it's just really like a little piece of Ireland right here in South Florida. Half of the staff is from Ireland themselves, so they're talking in their accents. Those are my words. They're true words. I stand by them. They're just fucking awesome, man. Full bars, amazing Guinness on tap, Smithwick's, the Irish car bombs, flowing like wine, and of course, authentic Irish American cuisine, shepherd's pie, bangers, mash, the corned beef, the cabbage, Irish potato soup. But if you're super picky, you got no excuses. They got the steaks, the chops, fresh seafood, vegan options, so no excuses for all of your emaciated fedora-wearing friends. They all got to come out. Live music Wednesday through Sunday. Again, if you're staying in, no problem. Just go to thefieldfl.com, enter code word REPS20 for 20% off your entire online order. I'll be announcing the next Mental Reps live very soon, too. Also, here's another great company run by great people. If you're looking for local sanitizing services here in South Florida, just call ESS Elite Sanitizing Services. They're state licensed and insured, offering local sanitizing services, which kill 99.9% of all bacteria and viruses, including COVID-19. If you need to keep your property, employees, and customers safe and virus-free, just let them keep you in business. Keep your employees working. They offer services for schools, churches, medical facilities, offices, aircrafts, yachts, public transportation, restaurants, gyms, homes, vehicles, and a whole lot more. It's like running them through a big Purell machine. And now they're offering free sanitizing to all the medical professionals and first responders, which I just think is a really, really cool thing to do. So give them a call, 954-663-5836. Visit them at elitesanitize.com or email them at info@elitesanitize.com. Elite Sanitizing Services, keeping South Florida safe and in business. All right. We paid a few bills. Thanks for your patience. Now it's time for the show. This is an absolute treat. Just like the cut of this crazy asshole's jib. Enjoy my chat with Alex Hooper.
All right, better.
Very nice.
I mean, hey, look, if I'm going to be on video, I might as well be a little more myself.
I love it, dude. Of course, man. That's what we want. You know, I almost hit you up because just a heads up, I'm totally fine, but I feel like all of a sudden super nauseous. And I'm like, did I just eat something bad? Do I have the Rona? Of course, everything that I think now, I feel, I'm like, do I have the Rona right now? Like everything that I feel, if I have like a little upset stomach or a headache or a cough, I'm like, oh, I got the Rona now. That's cool.
Oh, but every single thing that happened. If I trip on the sidewalk, I'm like, that's it. It was Corona. I know it. It's infected me.
I know, man. It's fucking stressful. But like, this is it. I guess let's just, we already hopped in. How you doing, man? My name's Brian Wright, and this is Mental Reps Podcast. I'm here with actor, comedian Alex Hooper. What's up, brother? Thanks for coming on.
Not too much. I'm glad to be here. It's the last day of the year. We made it. We're here.
I know. Thank God, man. It's enough of this already. 2020 be gone, bro. New beginnings. That's
Do you think 2021 is going to be better?
See, that's what I hear a lot of people saying, and it's like, oh, I feel like, how could it be any worse? You know what I mean? It can only go up from here. Only up.
Yes, I mean, don't say that quite yet.
God damn it, dude.
I am in full belief that it is up to us to change things, so that if you are having a terrible time, you can't blame it on outside forces that are collapsing it upon you. You need to take some responsibility and figure out how you can make things better for yourself.
I like that, dude. You're totally
It's
right.
just too easy to blame a pandemic or the economy or the government or whatever. Yeah, all those things fucking suck. But the fact is, we're here and we need to figure out how to navigate through them so that we can still thrive under any circumstances.
Yeah, you got to be pragmatic, right? I mean, and yeah, take personal accountability and look at the situation for what it is. I've been trying to, do my best to do that during the pandemic. I think I definitely feel for people who it's a little bit harder for. I think everybody is having their own experience, so I can't just be like, buck up, camper, like to all of them. But I completely agree with you. I think it is a bit of a cop out sometimes when people just want to blame. It's easy to blame the pandemic, of course, when it's like maybe part of the reason why you're in such a bad situation is because, maybe you did something wrong along the way. But we're figuring it all out, man. It's been a process. Everybody, it's different for them.
My thing is just I listen to who's complaining, right? If it is a mother of two who's single and has to work 3 jobs just to provide for her kids and take them to virtual school, all that, yes, 100% you can complain all day.
Mm.
But like, you know, 30-year-old person in a relationship that maybe just isn't doing as well as they want to, I'm just like, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. Like,
Bro, this whole pandemic's just really got me all fucked up. It's like, okay, yeah,
yeah,
that and a couple
I
other
know.
things.
My
Yeah.
favorite is when people say, like, I can't believe this happened to me. I'm like, to you? What are
Yeah,
you talking about?
for real, dude.
How selfish are you that you think a global pandemic happened to you? Like,
It's so
where do you get off,
narcissism
sir?
squared. Yeah, I know. I know. Dude, how you been holding up during the whole pandemic? I mean, I'm really happy to see you still doing your thing. I mean, you were on America's Got Talent a couple years ago, right? And during this
Yeah.
pandemic, you go up there with no crowd. But that's just one of your highlights from this year. How's your year gone outside of the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, there's so many things where I could say like, this sucked. I was supposed to do this. I was supposed to go here. We could play that game all day. But
Mm,
instead, I will tell you that I hit a full stop with my entire life where I was going to work every day when I wasn't on the road and doing shows every night. And then I was traveling all the time in between, and all of that stopped. And I literally just had to go, okay, so who am I when I'm not going 1,000 miles per hour trying to entertain the masses? What's happening with just me? And I took this year to relax. I made sure I have a thing where I have to do 5 positive, healthy things for myself every single day. So I make sure I do 5 things a day.
I like
And
that.
typically they would involve exercise, meditation, reading, writing, maybe a podcast, maybe a Zoom show. Maybe I called a friend for half an hour. Anything that makes me mentally feel good that isn't just like sitting and watching TV, smoking weed, looking at my phone, stuff like that.
That's
So
really
I
smart.
really, yeah, and I adhered to that and made sure that I was like, I still went out. I went on camping trips. My friends and I would get COVID tested a couple of days before. We would quarantine, then we'd go to the middle of the woods so we could actually like experience friendship and nature. And I worked on projects. Like having AGT was great. I released a special. I was just able to I, I'm not gonna lie, I was bored as fuck a lot. I'm not like sitting here like it was the best year ever. I was so bored.
Hmm.
But you get over it and you figure out, I'm like, okay, at least I don't have to go to work right now. Like I saved a bunch of money the past couple of years and I was getting unemployment. So I was like, dude, I'm in the park slacklining every day. This
Hmm.
isn't the worst year of my life.
Yeah, dude, that's another thing I think is important because people keeping it in perspective. Like, I've seen a lot of friends just like, we were talking about before being pretty down about everything. And it's like, well, you're getting in unemployment, right? You're still getting gigs here and there. You still got food in the fridge, roof over your head. Like, yeah, it's lonely. I think the psychological aspect of the like loneliness and being by yourself is fucking with a lot of people, especially if they don't have like a significant other that they can like snuggle with at the end of the night and shit and get that
Right.
human contact. But like other than that, like a lot of people are doing okay. It's just I think the madness of it all is taking its toll on everybody.
For me, it's the energy, right? Is I'm such a
Mm.
high energy person and I get it out by going out every single night, performing at least once or at least seeing a show or being around people I know, just mingling and just being in the world and feeling the world just kind of channels itself through me. And without having that, it was really a question of like, what do I do to get rid of all that stuff that needs to come out of me? So, I
Yeah.
mean, it really just meant exercising harder every single day to make myself a little more tired and coming up with some form of productivity, whether it be writing a script, doing a podcast, something. But that was the hardest part for me is just like, I, I identify as comedian. That's what I am. I'm
Mm.
not an internet comedian. I'm not making sketch videos. Like my whole thing is live entertainment is my favorite thing in the world,
Yeah.
and it's gone.
Uh,
So who am I in this new environment?
yeah.
And a lot of reflection time this year, Brian. A lot of it.
Mhm. That could be a good thing though, man. Like you said, I mean, I gotta say your positivity is infectious, man. I really love it. Like, I think that that's such a beautiful, awesome thing that you can do in this world, is just try and spread some sort of positivity, because whether you believe it or not, sometimes when you're out there, people are looking for somebody to give them the green light to be happy and just be like,
Yes.
everything's cool. Like, and look, like, we're doing our thing, we're keeping our heads up, this and that, and people need that. So the fact that you're going out there and spreading that positivity, man, I think it's just super fucking awesome of you. And despite all the things that you're going through as an individual, like you said, the self-reflection, being on your own and having to deal with it in your own way, you're still going out there trying to spread that positivity. I think that's fucking beautiful, bro.
Yeah, I described it as unapologetic positivity because some of my friends will be annoyed with me for
Mm.
always having this optimistic view. And to me, I'm like, look, you can think however way you want. If you would rather be in this dark hole of depression and not want to climb out, that's okay. I've been there for enough of my life. I want to live in magical rainbow lollipop world, and I want to be
Yeah.
skipping and prancing down the street
Fuck yeah.
thinking that everything's okay and not giving up hope on anybody.
And it
So
doesn't
I'm
make
trying.
you naive, or like you don't see the whole picture. It's like, no, it's not
No.
at all that. You take that into account. You know exactly what's going on, but despite that, you still push forward with the positivity. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had to
No,
go
no,
with
no,
what you're
for sure.
saying.
But you're exactly right. I choose this every single time I enter the world. I say, I'm going to put my tail up and I'm going to be curious and playful and free and fun and just be someone that people want to be around, even on days when it's hard.
Yeah.
And, luckily this year it has been a lot of it's been a lot of internet positivity. It's been a lot of trying to motivate posts and things like that. But I always let people know, I'm here if you need to talk your way through something. Whatever it is, I do think talking it out will always make it better. So that's why I'm so happy to always just to do a podcast. And we don't know each other. You just saw me from afar and we're like, I want to have this guy on. And I'm more than happy to come on and just have this random connection with a person when in a year that's been very trying for that.
Most definitely, man. I think that that's a really cool way to look at things, and that's one of the things that drew me to you and why I wanted to talk to you. And it's called Mental Reps Podcast. Obviously, we're just a bunch of silly gooses here. We don't take ourselves too seriously, but it is also trying to get yourself in the right mindset to live your best life, and try and put your best foot forward, try and be pragmatic, living within the confines of reality and understanding the situation, but being like, okay, now what do I just want? I used to do news. I used to be a news guy, and it would take me hours after I got off of work to just calm down, because
Right. To
you're so
decompress from all that.
inundated with all this horrible news all the time, that I would sit around and I would tell people after, you can sit around and find something to get pissed off about all day, every day. And rightfully so too. There's a lot of righteous indignation out there. People just fucking, do you even realize what's going on? Why aren't you as mad as I am about it?
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
my
just,
favorite.
oh, dude, I feel you. But like I said earlier with you, it's not like you're throwing your hands up with it. It's like an admittance of, this is what it is. So what can I do to spread some sort of positivity in an otherwise dark world, from at least, what you're experiencing at that time? Spread some positivity. If you feel like shit, go out there and help somebody else. That's the best way to feel better about your own shit. Go and help somebody who needs some fucking help or something, and try and just spread some sort of positivity on this planet. Because people who go around just peppering everybody with their negativity all day long, it's just such a
Yep.
bummer, man. It's just such a bummer.
And they also, for the most part, what I found is they don't realize that they're doing it. And other people don't realize how much they're actually letting that affect them. Whereas I
Mm-hmm.
have found a way where I will absorb the energy that you're giving me and the whatever you want to say to me.
You're an
I
empath.
will absorb it, but I also will let it hit me and kind of drag and then drop off of me. It doesn't stay here. It's like throwing a pickle at a window. It will stay there for a second, but then it's going to slide down and leave a snail trail of brine. Then I can just clean that off later. You know what I mean? If it's still on me. But
I love it.
that's how I look at things. It's just look, I just think it's better to talk about this shit and just put it all out in the open. And I love being dark. The reason in my comedy, a lot of it is fucking dark.
Yeah.
But I get away with it because I am such a silly person otherwise and such a loving person that people, I think, are more willing to listen to me talk about the dark stuff because they know I'm not plagued by only that
Yes.
as a personality trait.
Absolutely. Totally agree. I can sense that for sure. You're a Maryland guy, right?
Yeah,
Crab cakes
Baltimore.
and football. That's what Maryland does. You
That's what
grew up there?
Maryland does. Ugh.
How long I mean, how long you lived there? You still there or you're in LA
No,
now, right?
I'm in LA. I've been in LA for 12 years. I was in Baltimore till I was 19. I moved to Pittsburgh for 4 years when I was going to school, and then I moved to LA right after that. So
Okay, very cool. And
yeah,
then so you've been doing comedy for almost a decade
a little
now,
more actually.
or actually a little more.
Actually,
Yeah, that's right.
this March. So I started March 9th, 2009. So this upcoming March, like 3 months from now, will be my 12-year anniversary.
Good for you,
Pretty
man.
exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I obviously a lot of people know you from America's Got Talent, and you've been
Yeah.
on twice, like I said before, most recently during the pandemic. But the first time you went on, it was a little awkward or strange with the crowd. Like the crowd just like took their own vibe to it. And even Howie was saying, like, admittedly, he kind of got caught up in it too, because upon further review, he was like, "You actually had some pretty good jokes." And I think it was pretty good. They all zapped you or whatever. They all X'd you. And then you come back and fucking kill it, dude. Like you got to the quarterfinals this year. And I was reading up on it online, just like a lot of people pretty pissed off. Like by the way, I'm sure you saw it too, but I just saw so much positivity on your videos on the comments.
Oh,
You know,
thanks.
YouTube,
Yeah. Oh,
like you
yeah.
see all these people just shitting on everything. And I was so happy to see, I went to your video and I was like, man, people get it. I'm so happy to see that they get it. And they were really complimentary for you because you killed it, bro. Especially the
Thank you.
storybook and everything. So tell me
That was my
what that
favorite.
process
Yeah.
was like, man. What was that like and getting on those stages?
Dude, I mean, it's what I found, what America's Got Talent has taught me is that I can rise up in any occasion. In 2018, when I was booed by the entire crowd, that was 7 minutes of absolute performer hell.
Bro, I give you so much props for that, dude. I was sitting there watching you up on that stage, just like, bro, they don't even know what this guy, like, what that experience has got to be like.
Oh no, and you'll never understand how loud it was in there. Nobody will. They had to tone it down in the editing room because
Oh,
I couldn't hear myself speak. Like the fact that it's so clear what I'm saying was baffling to me when I watched it because they were doing everything they could to drown me out.
dude, you got some
And
coconuts on you, bro. Oh my God.
oh, they were hitting the floor and they were barely fit them into that unitard. And they so that was so insane. And then to get the opportunity to go back, I was just like, look, it can't go any. I've survived one of the hardest performances of my life for sure. And then to go back and then have no audience in that same theater was equally difficult in its own weird way. So
Yeah.
but then getting through that and getting through the judges cuts and then getting to go to the live shows. So now we're in a year of a pandemic. I haven't performed at all in 6 months. I'm about to do live television with untested material for 10 million people, no audience, in a room that is huge and bright as can be. And there is zero error to make a mistake. And I was like, great. Let's fucking
So
do
much
this.
props, dude. Fucking, that is so dope, though, man, that you will say yes to that. Like, I don't think, like I said, I don't think that a lot of other people, after that's the experience that you had the first time, for you to have the fucking gumption to be like, you know what? I'm going to go back. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to fucking take it at him even harder. Even despite the whole situation, like you said, during the pandemic, 6 months cold, you're going up there untested material to the stage where it's like these fucking all the lights and I mean, just dude, I cannot even fathom doing that, but you did it so well. And like, I just cannot give you enough props for that, man. Like, I think people think, oh, yeah, like, you know, that's crazy. People getting up on stage, but fully putting yourself in that situation and understanding what you're going through. I mean, I as somebody who, like, I'm not I've done stand up before, but I'm not a stand up comic. I was watching and just like, God, man, this is one of the most impressive, no, like legit impressive acts of just ballsiness that I've ever seen in a live performance. It was very impressive. I gotta
Thank
give you
you.
props for that, man.
I kind of, like we said, like a lot of the internet comments are extremely positive. So what I realize is even fans of America's Got Talent, the people that watch the show typically, for the most part, don't really like me because I go in there and I shake things up and I'm rude and I'm weird and I'm wearing these outlandish outfits and people don't know what to do with me. Like if you're like some rural family in Kansas and I come in wearing like a full bodysuit and a fur coat, just making fun of Heidi Klum, they're like, what is wrong with this person? But I kind of I knew that the internet, no matter what, would lift me up in these situations because I'm literally a professional troll
Yeah.
on that show.
Yeah.
I'm doing what they would do, what they do from the comfort of their own basement, sitting behind a computer going, Howie Mandel has been a shit for years.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, and then on there in the most difficult circumstances and willing to do it to their faces live. So the internet's like,
Yeah, man.
yes, please. So I kind of figured no matter what happens, as long as I hold my own and I perform well, I will be okay in this scenario. And it was terrifying and it was super weird. But I was so privileged to get to do this in a year when I had nothing else to do. The reason that whole storybook came together is because they were like, Alex, we don't know what we're going to do. We might have to shoot you at home. You might be doing this through a Zoom. You got to come up with some scenarios that are going to, like, if we can't do it on stage, what are we going to do with you? So I kept pitching them all these ideas. I mean, every day was back and forth with producers of like, what if we do this? What if we do this? And me having the time to come up with this entire concept of the storybook with these illustrations and me reading them these rhymes and this throne, basically the whole thing, to get to watch something I came up with in my brain come to life and have, I don't know how many thousands of dollars were spent doing, like, creating that whole atmosphere and scene, but it was literally like, whoa, like this was the biggest thing I'd ever put in my brain that then immediately went on to television.
That's
and
cool.
That just, it was badass. I was so lucky to get to do it.
I think one of the things, just as you were talking, I was thinking about is, I think what certain people, just because they can't even fathom somebody being like self-actualized and being aware, like some people are thinking, is this guy just out to lunch? And they're not thinking, you know exactly what you're doing. And some people get like confused or uncomfortable by that due to their own shit, if that makes any sense. So when they see somebody who's actually self-actualized going out there knowing exactly what you're doing and doing that to their faces, I think is that's why I think ultimately you always pull people around, because they see that you really are kind of this like genuine person who is there roasting people, but you're doing it in a kind of loving type of way. You're not doing it in a mean way. And it's really ballsy what you're doing. And like, dude, 75, what was it, like over 75 million views for that first one?
The first one has a crazy like 80 million views overall or something like that, probably even closer to 100 at this point.
Wow.
But what's so funny is like the other two performances, maybe if you added it up, maybe it would be like 1 to 2 million combined. And it's just because they're not, even the storybook one is hands down my favorite, because that is big concept and I was so proud of how it all came together. But the fact is, most people, the reason that first one got shared so much is because I'm being annihilated. And when you take away the audience, it's harder to tell what I'm doing when people aren't angry at me for it, like directly. And I think that's why, even though if it was up to me, the storybook one would be the highest viewed performance of anything I've ever done. And in fact, it's the lowest viewed one of all of them. And what are you going to do? You know, but that's, the beauty of me being a roasting, and why I like doing it on a show like that is because it is like me being a troll. People think I'm an asshole. There's millions of comments on the internet that say I am the meanest person on the planet, that say I have no soul, that, I clearly wasn't raised right and all this. It's like,
They don't even
it's
get
a
it, man.
joke.
Yeah.
It's just, and the thing is, I'm not trying to convince anyone, because if you honestly think I'm a mean person, you're never going to be a fan of mine anyway.
And like
I
you
don't
said,
need
you're
to convince you.
you're just saying things that people are already thinking anyway. And the fact that you're going on and doing it to their face, again, it's just like kind of almost hypocritical for people to kind of judge that, because they absolutely do it on their own. We all think those thoughts like, oh yeah, remember when Howie used to be a comedian? Even that little throw, like, it was a good joke, dude. And he actually laughed. I think could tell he was kind of like, was that the one that he laughed at, or he was like looking over at Heidi saying, why are you laughing at that? I forget which one. The first one, he was like a little more.
Yeah, no, that one I think he said, why are you laughing at that?
Yeah,
but
but especially that. Yeah, the second one, he came around and was all about it. You're a very colorful dude, and you seem to, I don't know, see the futility in life and seemingly decide just to fuck around with it, and which I just appreciate, dude. So keep on.
I just think you should have fun all the time.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing, is like, if you're not having fun, what are you doing right now? And I do think there's always ways to have fun, even when things are crumbling down around you and you're not really sure what to do, where to go, who to talk to. I still think there's ways to just go outside and go live a life that is fruitful. And that's what I want for other people. And I want to inspire people to be themselves and to do whatever they want, as long as it's like, non-violent, of course, and things like that. But I mean, I want people to, I want to spread love and have fun. That's my vibe all the time.
I love it.
And if it means, putting on a tail and walking onto America's Got Talent and telling Sofia Vergara she wears too much makeup, which, like, it wasn't easy for me to do. I love that woman. All I wanted to do was stare at her. I wanted to spend my entire time.
Bro, how beautiful is she in person? Like,
oh my God, dude. I never got within 100 feet of her, just so you know, because of COVID. They wouldn't let us mingle with the judges.
Yeah.
The second she walks into a room, like, I feel her presence, and I'm like, oh yeah, I feel her over there. It's crazy, dude, how much energy ruminates off of her.
I love it, dude. No, you were fantastic, man. I love the approach, because I see a lot of comedians going out there just trying to play this like too cool for school shit, and it's like, I think they're doing themselves a disservice. Like, if you're Anthony Jeselnik and that's your vibe, you're really funny, by all means. But I just see some goofballs out there trying to play it cool, and I think, like, let your freak flag fly, man. Like, let it out there. People want to see the true you, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. That authenticity, I think, is what people really crave.
Yeah, and I tell everyone, because people ask me all the time about they're auditioning for the show. I get people ask me for advice a lot. I'm like, you need to be memorable, no matter what. Like, you need to be all the way on one side of the spectrum. You need to do amazing, the best you've ever done, or you need to flop harder than you ever have. Because if you're in the middle, there's not good television living in the middle. They need you. It's the same reason. It's the same thing with politics, right? You don't hear about everything going on with the middle, because it's way more interesting what's going on with the extreme left and the extreme right. They don't talk about the middle because the stories aren't as good. Same thing with a show like America's Got Talent. You need to go on there. Like 2018, the reason that went so viral is because technically I bombed my dick off in that room. That's, you can say whatever you want about it, but that's the reason. And then you have to do something that really excites the people and make them go, wow, this is a person we need more of.
I love it, dude. I love it, man. Well, you obviously, it wasn't like a fluke. You're a comedian. You've been out there doing your shit for a long time. Like you said, over 11 years. I know, is it AlexHooperComedy.com or Hooper?
Just HooperComedy.com.
HooperComedy.com. You got some dates coming up in Tampa, I saw. I think in April. Yeah, hopefully. And like I say, dude, if you want to come down here, you got an extra day. I'll build a show around you in Fort Lauderdale. We can have some fun down here.
Sweet.
I just really want people to go and check you out, man. And I think that you're a really funny dude. You have a book out as well, How to Roast Your Friends Without Getting Punched in the Face. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, so actually, that is actually like a little roasting guide that you can download free from my website. It's just like a 9-part little thing of how to throw a roast in very easy steps. But I actually do have a book coming out that will be available by the end of January, and it's a personal development workbook called Roast Yourself to Happiness, a comedian's guide to finding joy by embracing your flaws. So I've written
Holy
this.
shit, that's awesome. Please tell me about it.
This has been my project for the past. I started working on it in the very beginning of December. I realized I needed something to do during lockdown. This is a perfect combination of where I'm going and the skills I already have. And roasting truly did make me appreciate myself in all of my weird flaws and little, like, just the tiny little things that you look in the mirror and hate about yourself. I just learned to be okay with. So I'm teaching people. I basically give you a process over 28 days to break yourself down completely, to absolutely viciously insult yourself, take the power away from everyone else, stop judging yourself, owning who you are. And then the next 2 weeks, we build you back up and make you really be able to go out into the world and own the person that you're supposed to be. So I'm so excited about this. It should be available by the end of January to purchase through Amazon. And I just think it's the direction I want to go. I want to do personal development and self-help, but in a really non-cheesy, straightforward way. I hate when a self-help book is like, you're a beautiful creature, you can do whatever you want. It's like, okay, tell that to a 40-year alcoholic who just got in his 7th bar fight of the week, who's laying face down on the cement. Like, you can't tell that person you're a beautiful creature. Instead, you need to go, look, you're a piece of shit, but you're going to own you being a piece of shit right now and stop making excuses about why you're a piece of shit. And I just think it's needed. I've read enough of these books that I know what I want from them and what old me would have really wanted before I was willing to make changes. So my whole idea of this book is write something that will be super entertaining, but also very helpful along the way to anyone who picks it up and starts going through the process.
Dude, I love that idea, man. And honestly, like, the psychology, it sounds pretty sound to me. Like, don't take that power away. Like, own it. Even like, what's it, Tyrion on Game of Thrones or whatever. Like, own it and use it. Like, they'll never be able to use it against you after you fucking own that shit. Like, own yourself, own your flaws and all that, and then you build yourself back up. That's fucking beautiful, man. I love that. And you were on roast battle. I've had Frank Castillo and Matthew Broussard on the podcast before. What was that experience like, going through the roast battle?
Dude, that's how I got into roasting as a whole. And I really started, I was at the top of the LA. I was number 1 in LA for over a year. And that's when I really started kind of coming into my own, because I compare it to like playing like Mario Kart. I got so good at Mario Kart for so long that I was always in first place, and it wasn't fun anymore. I didn't get any good items. All I'm throwing is banana peels. You're not chasing anyone. All you're doing is trying to stay in the lead, and that's not fun after a while.
You have no idea how much I appreciate and understand that analogy. Go ahead. I'm a big Mario Kart guy.
Right. So exactly. And I think most people will get that. And the whole thing is, so that's when I started like playing with the format. And that's when I started wearing these crazy outfits and doing these characters and really just trying to just change roast battle, like, from the inside out. Like, look, I learned how to do this correctly. I did it by the book, and I did it how everyone told me I'm supposed to do it. Now I'm going to come in here and fuck this thing up so that it plays more to my speed. And when I started doing that, it was immediate, the response that I got. And when I was picked for Roast Battle Season 1, had a really good battle against Guy Branum. They only aired like 1 clip of it in the first season. So I was happy to get a clip, but then Season 2, they're like, you're going to the big show. You're going to do the main thing. And I just knew it was an opportunity to be like, cool, let's go weird. Let's get real, bizarre, and show some machismo. And again, that's where the fur coat started and all this other weird stuff. And I was like, I'm going on television. I have an opportunity. No one's telling me what to wear. No one's telling me what to say. No one's telling me what I am or am not allowed to do.
Mhm.
I'm going to take advantage of all of that because it is so rare that you go on TV without people going, this is what you're going to wear. Here are your lines.
Yeah.
This is what you say. Do not stray from the script. And I was like, I got full opportunity to go out here and do whatever I want. I'm taking this shit. And that battle with Matthew Broussard in the second round is one of my favorite battles ever. I think I really think him and I just knocked it out of the park. Every joke hits back and forth. Even though he won, the battle's just amazing. It's really fun to watch the two of us go at it, especially because, you know, he's so perfect.
Dude, I was interviewing him. I'm like, God damn, your eyes are beautiful, bro. God fucking A. Like he went to Rice. He's like a math guy. He's like brilliant too. I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. It's honestly like he's the kind of person that I want to hate, but he works so hard and is so genuinely funny that I have nothing but love for him.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, which makes me go, God, fuck you even harder for just being this good at something when you look like that. Like, God damn it. But yeah, I mean, Jeff Ross has given me so much. He saw something in me early and believed in what I was doing and realized that I was willing to take chances and to fail. And what I've done on like everything that I did on Roast Battle is what got me to America's Got Talent and just the stakes were now higher. These people don't know that I'm here to roast, but the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. And I fully am ready to fall on my ass at any moment if it means the victory will be that much sweeter. And luckily so far, I haven't fallen on my ass too much. I mean, it's coming. It's gotta be coming. But so far, I've been able to rise up.
But that's like the risk reward, right? I mean, you got to put yourself out there, take the leaps in order to, that's what, I mean, you got to work for that juice and it's worth the squeeze. And if you actually put some good shit out there, you stay authentic to yourself and you spread some positive. I mean, I think that you're going to be in good shape, man, because you work hard, you got a great attitude and people like having you around. And those are really important things to have when it comes to success. So just keep on doing your thing. Like, what do you got planned next? I mean, obviously with this pandemic, who fucking knows, but do you have some plans for this upcoming year outside of the upcoming book that's coming out?
Yeah. So, I mean, the book is the next thing to get out there for sure. I have ideas for another special. So I did this, I was going to shoot a special this year. But I had this, again, grandiose plans of how to do something fully in my wheelhouse that's never been done before, but it required a large gathering, and it's obviously that's not going to happen right now. So I'm trying to figure out another way to put together like a half-hour documentary style special where it combines my skills. I'm working with somebody on that right now. I do think touring is going to come back again in 2021. I think when I start going on the road again, I'm supposed to have dates in January in Colorado. The club just emailed me, said they're probably not going to happen, but hopefully by March, April, when my other dates start popping up, that I will be able to do it. And I don't really know. Like, I mean, as far as it's nothing definitive other than I know I'm going to tour more. I know I'm going to put out another special. I know I'm going to put out this book. My podcast, I'm always growing. I always have that going. It's called
Achilles Heel. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
you have also the special, when does the club shut? Yeah.
Right. So when does the club shut was my half hour special from London. That's really like a documentary style. It's basically like an episode of Anthony Bourdain's show, except as a comedian following a tourist around the city, doing tons of sets and just exploring. And it's really, really fun. It got very well reviewed by everybody that watched it. And so, yeah, I want to put together more stuff like that. My whole thing is I don't want you to know what's coming from me. I always want to surprise people. I always want to do something different. I want my resume to read like a giant anthology of just like, okay, so you were on these sitcoms, you made this Pug Yoga Calendar, you were on America's Got Talent, you got the roasting thing, you got a special from London, you have a podcast that's comedy and therapy. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I want to be, is where I keep giving people different things and different ways to experience my form of entertainment.
That's cool.
Um,
You thinking
and
about doing any
so,
more acting? I know you were on New Girl, which is like one of my girl's favorite shows of all time.
oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so what you got some more acting
I
potentially
hope
line?
so. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have an agent, so I do.
Oh,
I have a commercial agent and a voiceover agent, and I do audition for a lot of voiceover stuff. I really want to get into the cartoon world and things like that.
same here.
Um, but I want more acting stuff. It's hard because like it's hard to put too much into one pot, like I have so much in the stand-up comedy world and really making that the thing that I really only get acting stuff when somebody says, hey, oh, Alex, I got a part for you, do you want to come in and do this thing?
Yeah, because you go
um
into audition, it's taking too much time out of your day. I mean, and when you
and I'm
don't even
happy to
know you're
do
gonna get the job. Yeah,
I'm always happy to do it though, because an audition means that you're there for a reason. You get a chance to perform. You get a chance for a producer or a casting director to see you, and maybe if you're not right for this thing, they'll remember you for another thing.
for sure.
um it's just a matter of like I don't go after acting like I do with stand up. And so I think that while there will be a big future for me, like in TV and making my own roles and things like that, I think more so it's going to mostly come because of stuff I do through my stand up comedy, you
Very
know?
cool. I love it,
But
dude.
I love acting too, man. Being on those sets is so fun. Like New Girl, dude, I mean, getting to improv with those guys and kind of just like fit myself into the seam of a show that was, I mean, I was in season 4. They had a groove, and trying to
Hmm.
figure out how I can get in there it was great. And I love doing that stuff. I mean, I got to my second year in LA, I was on a sitcom called Hot in Cleveland. And I was in an
Oh yeah.
episode with Betty White and Mary Tyler Moore together. And
Holy
then you're like, I'm
shit.
like 2 years, I'm like 26 years old or something like that, 25, 26 years old. And I'm in a room before we tape and we're doing a speed read. And I'm looking at two of the most legendary comedic actresses of all time, thinking
Wow.
like, how did I get
Yeah.
here? And you know what? And I
Life
said
is
that,
nuts.
and I
Yeah.
said that to somebody else in the show, and that person was Wayne Knight, Newman from
Oh,
Seinfeld. And
oh,
he goes, and he looked at me, he goes, Alex, I don't know what I'm doing in there. So trust me, I feel you.
dude, that's so
And I
cool,
was
man.
like, yeah, you're what? So yeah, I love that shit. I
Very cool.
just I just love doing anything in the entertainment world. This is what I
Yeah,
live for.
I saw you on Ellen. I know you mentioned it, but the pug lover thing, because I got a couple things I wanted to ask you before I get you out of here. But I want really quick, tell us about the pug lover, because that's actually really cool, because that goes to like benefiting the pug rescue and all that. Whenever all the proceeds and everything go to the pug rescue, so it was featured on Ellen. Tell us how that all came about, because you're a major pug lover.
I know I am. I'm there again, unapologetic. So they are. I took this picture a few years ago. I was at a music, or I was just on my carpet, and I did this yoga pose, and I put my dog on my feet, and I lift her up to the sky, and I took this picture, and all these people were like, "That's hilarious!" So I was like, "Oh, let me take more pictures like this." So I just started posting them, and next thing, people were like, "Can we get a coffee table book? Can we get a mug? Can we get a calendar, a postcard, something?" I tell my photographer friend, Troy Conrad, who's one of LA comedy's finest photographers. His work has been seen everywhere. If you've ever seen a picture of LA comedy in the past 2 years, probably taken by Troy. But he was like, Alex, yes, let's do this thing. And I put so much effort into it. I put, into the design and like making this really good Kickstarter video of like where people are going to want to buy it, and just really just taking these gorgeous photos with me and one of my dogs and putting it out there. And next thing we knew, Ellen was asking for a copy of it, and it was on her show like a month and a half later. And it just goes to show that like that was a moment where I was like, oh, I can do anything I want.
Yeah,
Like, why do I ever doubt myself? As long as you put effort and love into what you're doing, amazing shit's gonna happen.
I
And
fucking love this, dude. I'm just eating this up. Keep it up, bro.
it's just like and like something like that. Like, so you made a calendar called Pug Yoga of you and your pug doing yoga poses all over Los Angeles. Why? And I was like, for I
Why
don't know
not?
why.
Yeah.
Like, because I like people. I love my favorite thing was when people would be like, dude, I got this calendar hanging on my cubicle, and every time somebody walks by my office, they have to stop and go, what? what is this?
That's one of the reasons that you made it, because of that moment right there. Yeah.
Exactly. And like, and it was proof again, just like follow your instincts. You don't know what's going to be a thing that makes you pop, and just do it. Just don't there's so I have thrown away hundreds of thousands of ideas where I go, I don't want to do that, that's too much work, I can't see the other side. But once you start the process of something, sometimes it's very difficult to think about the end result. But if you take it step by step and you enjoy what you're doing in the meantime, eventually you sludge through the middle, you make it to that other side, and then you get this beautiful moment where it's done. And you get to release it to the world, and they get to see it.
The best feeling ever.
It's so great. It's because you did something.
Yeah.
And that was one thing this year where it's like, I need to keep completing projects and putting things out into the world, even if everything is making it very difficult for me to do it in my traditional fashion. I still need to find a way. And that's what, like, I'm never gonna stop having silly ideas. And my whole thing is just like, no one can take what's yours if you're the only one that can do it, right? Are there people that could have made a Pug Yoga Calendar? Of course. Is there anyone else that would have? Probably not. Is there anyone else that can slackline? Of course there is. Is there anyone else that's going to probably film a slackline special while doing comedy on a 1-inch piece of webbing? I don't think so. So I take ideas that are in my wheelhouse that I know nobody else is going to do because they're too wacky or they're too niche. Like I'm very good at slacklining. I can be on a slackline. My record is over 3 hours.
Holy shit.
Without falling off. So if I can do that and learn how to tell jokes up there, well, why wouldn't I film a special on a slackline? No one else is going to.
Dude, that's beautiful, man. I love it. Dude, I was a fan of you already, but just after talking to you for fucking 45 minutes, like I really appreciate you, dude, and your approach on life, and even bigger fan now, just seeing that you're such a good human being behind all the jokes and the roasting and everything like that.
It's all a trick. I have murdered children under my bed, sucking my dick.
I love it, dude. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something called Hater Hall of Fame. And I like to keep the show positive, obviously. We're keeping the vibe up here, but as a means of being able to almost like have an exorcism of one's negativity, we all have it in there. It's going to come out one way or another. It's up to us to find the healthy ways to get it out. And it's not about being negative or really truly hating. It's really just about feeling a little bit better, getting it out. So we do a little something called Hater Hall of Fame.
I hate you guys.
I hate you. I don't even know you.
You're tacky and I hate you.
All right, dude. What's pissing you off today? What's something that's bugging you need to get off your chest?
I don't like that I can't see my friends on New Year's. I I'm okay spending New Year's by myself, but it is a night where I really like to party and go ham and run around in a club or something like that. I'm one of those people that I enjoy getting dressed up and I like celebrating. And the fact that I'm going to just spend New Year's Eve by myself is not by myself. I mean, my fiance, my pugs, but like we're just going to order Chinese food. And I wish we could be out
fucking
just
amazing.
Dancing our faces off.
Yeah,
it is. It's gonna be great. I miss dancing with a bunch of people. Yeah. And I miss bumping my sweaty body into somebody else and then turning and looking at them and just smiling as big as we possibly can because it just feels good to purge.
No, I like that answer. I mean, I totally get it. It's especially when you're a social being, getting out there, mixing up. We're fucking human beings, man. We want to be around other people, and obviously, you want to do it on our terms and everything. But I was just talking to my girl who works at a local place town here called Township, and they're doing this big New Year's Eve thing tonight. And she's like, it's going to be a good time, whatever, but she's got to work it. So it's going to be a crazy night. And I was going to go and visit her. And we were both just thinking about, oh my God, how nice would it be to stay home and just like watch it on our own, like, and chill. So, and I guess it all depends because every year is a little bit different for me. I want to go out and fucking do it up, but I love the excuse of just staying in, ordering some Chinese. I mean, that sounds pretty beautiful. But I totally understand what you're saying. It's a bummer. You know, it's like just to not.
I don't like that the option's not there at all.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm totally okay staying home and having a night. I don't like that it's forced upon me, and it's fine. Like, I'm not going to complain about it. I don't complain about pretty much anything just because I don't think it gets you anywhere. It makes you sound like a bitch. And, you know, I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to live my life, and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of staying home tonight. And, you know, I'll smoke weed. I'll put on a movie. I got offered to do a couple Zoom shows, and I was like, I can't. Not tonight, guys. Like, I don't want to look at my computer all New Year's Eve just staring. I just don't want to do that.
I totally get it, bro. I totally get it. Well, it sounds like you got like a good head on your shoulders about the whole thing. Again, just keeping like everything where it needs to be, and not letting the situation take hold of you. And you're like trying to have your stamp on it rather than letting everything affect you. You're pushing your will out there, which I think is a really cool thing. All right, we got mental reps questionnaire, and then I'll let you get out of here.
Pop quiz, hotshot.
Why so serious?
What's in the box?
What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Answer the question, Claire.
Are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Is Darth Vader my father?
For real, B? I want answers.
Without a good question, a good answer has no place to go. It's time for the mental reps questionnaire.
All right, it's take as long as you need, but don't overthink it. It's kind of like a lightning round of sorts. If you could meet anyone, current or historical, and spend the day picking their brain, who would it be?
Only because she's on my mind right now. Jamila Jamil. Do you know from? She's on that show. She was on that show, The Good Place. She's this gorgeous, hugely tall British actress. But she's also very real and very funny, down to earth, very motivational, very much about owning who you are. And easy for her to say she's this gorgeous model, but even still, I just love her so much. I want to be in her presence.
I'm trying to look her up right now to see. You said Jamil?
Jameela, Jamil.
Jamil. Oh, okay.
If you follow her on Instagram or anything, she's absolutely amazing. She's inspiring, and she is just so funny and so down to earth. And I can't say enough good things about her. And she shared a post today on Instagram that I just loved, and that's why she's on my mind. But there you go.
I love it. Good answer. I'm going to definitely check her out. If you had one round trip ticket in a time machine, when and where would you go?
Oh man, when and where would I mean, it's got to be somewhere like ancient Egypt, when they were like the Library of Alexandria or something.
That's my answer, bro. Holy shit. I stole it from Carl Sagan, because Carl Sagan said that in the Old Cosmos. And I was like, that's my answer, dude. Yeah,
I want to see what's going on back then. I want to see how people are living and how they were at the height of societal building, which is so crazy to think about. Much further technology has come. I don't think society's doing any better, but technology is. But yeah, something like that I think would be super cool.
That is a really good answer. I love it. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
The ability to never have to sleep. I would love, I already am such an energetic person, but I think if I didn't need to be bogged down with any sort of exhaustion, and I could just go and then stop whenever I wanted to, just to take a break, I think that would be really great.
That's like a great, you're not the first person to say that. And I was equally shocked. I just never heard anybody give that answer until just recently. And I think that's pretty solid, dude. That's pretty.
I've never really thought about that answer before. Cause I mean, honestly, who doesn't want to fly? Right. Of course. But the fact is, if I didn't have to sleep, then I just can go through life with a lot easier happening.
I love it. If you could create a Woodstock type music festival featuring 5 musical acts from any era, who would they be?
First of all, I want to have my own festival one day. I've been throwing shows for years that are basically like mini festivals.
Fuck yeah.
So I got to go with some. I mean, a couple of my favorites like LCD Sound System and Radiohead definitely would be on there.
Okay.
I got to think I got to go a little more classic, like something seeing like Led Zeppelin live, or I was at that Snoop and Dre performance at Coachella in 2012. That was fucking amazing to watch those two guys on there.
Okay.
So I like the mix up of that. And then, God, I mean, I want to see someone like a really classically done symphony in there too, where it's like something where it's like a full orchestra playing like the original orchestra that played like Beethoven's Ninth or something like that, and like really to experience that wholly for the first time would be incredible. But I mean, this question I could go off for hours on this question.
I know it's a heavy one.
I'll stop it there.
I like it. No, you did a good job. What's your favorite movie?
So I always give a dual answer for this one. A Clockwork Orange and Dumb and Dumber.
Dude, that's great, man. Like Dumb and Dumber, honestly, even my father used to joke, which thank God he always has had a good sense of humor, but he would say like Dumb and Dumber is like right up there with Gone with the Wind, like Casablanca, like as far like he just
I think so. And honestly, I think it says everything about me when if I say one of those movies, it's going to be like, oh, but if I say both, people are like, I get you.
Yeah. Yeah,
the darkness and the silliness and just the pure idiocracy of it all. Like I'm into it.
What's some wisdom you can share with anyone listening who's trying to pursue their dreams in stand up or acting or anything that you do?
This is a quote that has completely changed my life when I started embracing it. It's from a British philosopher and writer named Alan Watts. And the quote is, "You have no obligation to be the person you were 5 minutes ago." You know this quote?
Yeah, buddy. It's one of my favorites. I love it.
Dude, it literally changed my life because I was holding on to so much bullshit that I thought when I was like a teenager, and I was angsty and depressed and bitter. And I kept that with me for so long. And when I heard that quote, I was like, oh, I could just let it all go and act in a completely different way. And I think if you think about that, you can allow yourself to adapt and change with the world and with your own mind and with your own body, and you really won't fail if you're willing to adapt. So you have no obligation to be the person you were 5 minutes ago.
Fantastic. I love it. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say? This is the last one.
I would probably tell them, do drugs responsibly. Stop with all the heroin and the opiates and crack and PCP and meth. Take some mushrooms, some acid, some marijuana, some ecstasy, some ketamine. Just take the fun ones, do them in very small, recreational, safe amounts, and learn how to do them to purge your negativity out of you. And also, fucking go dance. If you're in a bad mood, go dance. And I promise you, you will not be in a bad mood for very long. The black will fall out and you'll be filled up with rainbows. It is a wonderful way to be.
Dude, this has been one of my favorite interviews, man. I just love the fucking attitude, the positivity. You seem like a great guy. Like, I interview a lot of different people. Obviously, they go in a lot of different ways. Some of them can go in a lot of different directions. But, like, I really enjoyed this one, man. I enjoyed our talk. I feel like we'd be buds. And hope, like I said, if you're coming down here, let me know. I'd be happy to build a show around you and get you down here and get you paid and sell some tickets and fucking have a good time. But dude, thanks so much for coming on. I got the quote of the week, and this is it. It's from Sigmund Freud, and it's the goal towards which the pleasure principle impels us of becoming happy is not attainable, yet we may not, nay, cannot give up on the efforts to come nearer to the realization of it by some means or other. And I think it's just kind of, it's like the pursuit of happiness. It's so fucking important. People try and keep things in perspective, be pragmatic. I just think that you're a great example of what a good attitude can bring you. So I want people to go out there, check you out, hoopercomedy.com, your Hooper hair puff on all the social medias. And just can't thank you enough for coming on today, man. I really appreciate it. We'll definitely have to talk again soon.
Dude, this was a blast, Brian. I really appreciate it. And yeah, everybody, just enjoy the process. If you're awake today, well, unless you're gonna kill yourself, you better go enjoy yourself. So like those are the only options: either have fun or die. So I don't want you to die. Go have fun.
I love it, dude. Thanks again, man. I appreciate you, and thanks for your time, brother.
You got it, Brian. Have a great
talk
day, man.
soon. You too.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Hooper. You're listening to Mental Reps Podcast with host Brian Wright. So keep your head on a swivel, dork.